Finally, Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation as a Supreme Court justice was like a nightmare come true. Kavanaugh is yet another man who doesn't seem to think women are people, and his position on the Supreme Court gives the Republicans something they've been dreaming of for decades: the possibility of reversing Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade, as you may know, is the historic 1973 Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion in the United States. Abortion was deemed a fundamental right under the US Constitution. In practice, many women still have tremendous difficulty exercising this right due to the cost of the procedure, the distance they have to travel to get to a provider, or state laws that are specifically designed to get in the way. Some states, for example, have a mandatory waiting period after having an ultrasound to find out if she is pregnant. A woman must wait between 24 and 72 hours before she is able to have an abortion performed. However, despite all these difficulties, Roe v. Wade was still a landmark decision for women and all people across America. And now that Kavanaugh is on the Supreme Court, he is likely to provide the vote that Republicans need to overturn this decision. Political commentators who are smarter than me have speculated that this is exactly why Kavanaugh was chosen. I won't go into why Republicans want abortion to be illegal. In general, it seems that they think women shouldn't be allowed to make choices about their own lives. Anyway, since Kavanaugh's confirmation, I've been wondering about what it would be like to live in the United States without Roe v. Wade as a woman. I could just ask my grandparents, of course, because they and plenty of other people are old enough to remember a time when this was the case. So imagine this. You're an American woman and you get pregnant. You aren't able to leave the country to get an abortion because it's too expensive. And you're afraid of what might happen to you if you seek out a shady, illegal abortion provider. You've heard stories that make you afraid for your life. So you decide the best thing to do would just be to go ahead and have the baby. And this should be fine, right? Because if Republicans wanted women to have children so badly, there must be some legal protections for women who are becoming mothers. But unfortunately, that's not the case. First of all, the costs of childbirth and your own health care may not be fully covered by your health insurance. In the best case scenario, you have insurance through your employer, and you have at least 14 other full-time co-workers. That way, between 25 and 90% of your expenses will be covered, after you pay your deductible, of course. So if you are this lucky, then you might only have to pay about $4,000 to give birth to that baby. So let's continue with this best case scenario of what it's like to be a woman in America after Roe v. Wade has been overturned. You had a full-time job when you got pregnant, so you can take some paid leave and then return to your job, right? And yet again, the answer is no, probably not. The United States is the only country in the developed world that does not require employers to offer paid leave to new mothers. The best we can offer is the Family and Medical Leave Act that then President Bill Clinton signed in 1993. This act states that certain eligible workers must have at least 12 weeks of unpaid leave. That's right, unpaid, to care for your new child. Your body and your bank account have both taken a blow, and you are on your own to figure out how you will recover. The United States is unique in its cruelty to new mothers and their families. It's as if childbirth in the US was an unnecessary choice, just something self-indulgent, like getting some plastic surgery so you don't look as old. But really, in the US, everything is about the economics of things, making more money, and how are parents supposed to raise more employees and taxpayers if they don't have paid leave to take care of their children? Most of you, I think all of you, are not from the US, so you have some context. You know a little bit about how ridiculous the US's policies are. But let me give you some more examples so you can really understand how much of an outlier the US is. In Finland, for example, new mothers are entitled to up to 3 years worth of paid leave. So 3 years, your child is ready to go to preschool by that time. They can even write you a card that says, "Good luck at work, Mom." In Norway, mothers get up to 91 weeks of paid leave, which is still pretty good. Canadian mothers get 1 year, and even British mothers are allotted 39 weeks to take care of themselves and their newborn babies. But for our poor American mother, who in this scenario has been forced to carry her child to term because she cannot have an abortion, there may be no paid leave at all. Congratulations, it's a girl, now get back to work. Many American mothers who have full-time jobs have to stick together their vacation time, their sick leave, their personal days, and any unpaid leave they have in order to spend time recovering and caring for their baby. Or they might also be able to take short-term disability leave, which is about 6 weeks long. This isn't possible at all workplaces, but some have it. 6 weeks is barely long enough to recover from the physical trauma of giving birth. It takes about another 2 or 3 months before the new parents can get more than 4 hours of sleep at a time. Can you imagine trying to do your job when you're not even getting 4 hours of sleep a night? So the usual amount of leave available is not long enough, and when it's not paid, every day counts. It's well documented that American household incomes drop when a baby is born, and that's the same time when your expenses start to pick up. The typical household income falls by 10% at childbirth, and it doesn't fully recover until several months later, when both parents are back at work. And that 10%, that's if the household includes 2 parents. If the household is headed by a single woman, the mother, then income drops by 42% at the time of childbirth. We know that paid maternity leave is necessary to help mothers recover, not just physically, but also financially and mentally. Not having time off after giving birth can factor into postpartum depression, which affects between 11% and 20% of women. It can also lead to other health problems like headache, fatigue, anxiety, and relationship issues, of course. Going back to work too early before a new mother's milk supply is established can also make it harder for her to breastfeed. And to add the icing on the cake, most employers don't even have an appropriate space for women to pump breast milk in. New mothers often have no choice but to go into the bathroom or go out to their car in the parking lot to pump for their baby. This is totally humiliating and ridiculous. Every other rich nation in the world has decided that it's in its own interest to help families in their time of need, but not the US. Our government has decided that it's up to the employer to decide whether to offer paid leave or not. And of course, you know what happens when you let the employer choose. We're not going to pay an employee that's not here working. Well, there's one thing that pregnant women in the US could look forward to, or women thinking about becoming pregnant in the next few years could look forward to. While President Trump was campaigning in 2016, he vowed to work toward mandating 6 weeks of paid maternity leave for all mothers. That would be a great start, but it's not even close to the 14-week minimum recommended by the International Labor Organization. To quote Mr. Trump, "This is the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals." I know that the situation sounds pretty dire for our hypothetical new mother in a post-Roe v. Wade America. However, it could turn out okay. She might have a spouse who earns enough to support the whole family. She might have parents who can help her out. Or she might work at one of the few companies in the US that offers not just paid maternity leave, but paid paternity leave and paid leave for parents who adopt a child. Tech companies are especially strong in this field. So in case you're taking notes, these companies include Airbnb, Apple, Facebook, Netflix, and Microsoft. Kavanaugh has only just been confirmed, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. There are no official plans to make abortion illegal at the federal level as of now. However, it's worth taking this look at the situation for new mothers in the US as it stands today. So today, theoretically, women who become pregnant unexpectedly are able to consider their options before having a child. And they have access to abortion if a long unpaid leave or no leave would be too big of a burden. Theoretically, right now, women have the right to make this unfair choice. But if abortion is criminalized again, women won't even have a choice. Thank you.